This is football.
Today we have a Week 3 Division 4 game from the Blood and Tears Perpetual League, and it's another Elf versus Elf game, our second in 3 games in this league. My name's Jurassic and I'm the head coach of Pointy Ear United, an Elven Union Team, and we are playing Trolle, who is the head coach of the Area Turns Red, who are a Dark Elf team. They're currently 1 win and 1 loss in the division. Let's head over to the action. So once again, we are the team with the higher TV, and Trolle decides to bump up his coaching staff with some additional coaches and cheerleaders for the game. We go for the toss, and Trolle wins the toss and decides to receive. So both teams set up with a pretty balanced setup with you on the wing, and obviously the thrower back there to receive the kick. And we aim for quite deep in the backfield, and the kickoff event is just a changing weather, which stays as perfect conditions. The assassin fails the stab. We get the lineman managing to do a great foul. A few of the players move up to take advantage. And then the Witch Elf gets an amazing pow. We're stunned. Good work on the line of scrimmage here. And look at that. We shouldn't expect anything else but a dislocated shoulder for our lineman. Third block of the game is becoming a bit of a theme here. And now his Blitzer went and picked up the ball, and the actual blitz, he uses a re-roll instead of a pushback to get power. Now onto our first turn, and we send one of our catchers round the back, moving up for a blitz, and we get a push. This seems to be tradition now. We have to get quite a few pushbacks before we actually get hit in. And we take a very simple defensive line there. Probably should have skipped this player away. And they get a pow for a stun. 2 block on our blitzer and gets a pow. And that looks like that's going to be a stun. Now Trolle moves the ball up. And it looks like he's forming a rough cage at this stage. Another blitz on our, another block on our blitzer for a pow. And now the Witch Elf goes for our catcher and gets a defender stumbles. Uses the Witch Elf to form another corner of the cage. Then Trolle just pushes back our catcher and sets up, so all players are off bases by the looks of it. So we then move into a bit of a defensive position, and that's a very short turn, just using our 1 blitz to try and get a block in, but staying pretty dead fast in our defensive position. Then Trolle gets a pushback on that catcher. And again, I think we're just sort of trading blows at this stage. No one willing to commit too hard. The Witch Elf has to follow up with that frenzy with 1 dice. Not ideal. And then uses that blitz maneuver to get into a better position. Now he's got couple of players behind our line of defense here, but quite a few players out of position over here. And I think we're going to have to come back and try and bring our players back into a better position to defend on future turns of this half. Yeah, we bring back one of our strong catchers to a deep defensive position. Then just shuffle all of our players back a little bit. I think we're going to throw a blitz here. Yep, there we go. A blitz on the lineman there next to the ball carrier. And then we're able to get our blitzer out of there. Form up defensive line. We make a block and get both down, which obviously isn't good because we don't have block. Have to reroll for a pushback. A Trolle steps up with strong block to move our lineman out the way with a defender stumbles. Uses the blitzer to get into a better position. And then forms up the cage. Backfills that with his blitzer. The Witch Elf goes for a block and gets both down. Attacker down. Rerolls and gets a stunned. Now once again is working that left side, getting our player onto that touchline, putting it into a difficult position for our next turn. Another knockout. Right, we are down 2 players, so now we're going to have to try and get blitzers and our players with sure feet close to that ball carrier. Cause some hassle there. And again, we're just pulling back, moving into a more of a deep defensive position. And we wasted a reroll dodging away from the Witch Elf there. We're also harassing at the back there, giving probably some food for thought. Uses his players to work against that short foot ability, forcing the blitzer to move away so he can bring the ball carrier into a much better position down on that left side. Good player movement there by Trolle. You kind of would expect it from an experienced coach. Now this is looking like a bit of a tricky position. We have got quite a few players here out of position, but we do still have this defensive line. We brought that player in, but we do have this player here stuck and pinned against the sideline. There we go. We're just forming up a bit of a defensive area. We go for the block on the Witch Elf, and once again we get a pushback, but we get our player touching base with the ball carrier and get our other blitzer back behind our deep defensive line. Just a little pushing around at the moment from both teams, and you get a defender stumbles. And that does not look promising. Knocked out. That's 3 players off the pitch for Pointy Ear United. And that blitz really wasn't what he was after there. Now we get a pushback from... Oh, he's going to sidestep. Where's he going? Causes a problem, even though the blitzer is prone. Forces the ball carrier either way, taking up movement. So that was quite a good use of sure feet. And Trolle repositions the ball carrier. We get a both down, and is that a turnover? It is. It is. Now we can maybe capitalize on this slight error by getting our player in and throwing a 1 dice blitz. Gets a pushback, not ideal for us, but we do have a strip ball. He fails the pickup or the catch, and we just move our catcher in and our thrower creating a problem here with our tackle zones. Maybe we can just hold off. The assassin throws the stab and fails again. I think that's the second time. Second failure. Our Trolle is trying to get some clearance here. And Blitzer is able to get another tackle zone, or keep his tackle zone around that ball. Now what happens here? Gets a push. Push back onto the ball. Doesn't bounce favourably. Witch Elf going frenzy. Now this block here forces our player out, and we use the sure feet skill to move by the ball. Keep our tackle zones close by. It's both down. Trolle did well to try and remove some of those players with their tackle zones around the ball. So I think, yeah, we've only got one player now there. So now we use our catcher with the strong skills to throw a 1 dice block on this lineman, hopefully push them back or knock them over onto the ball, and maybe the ball will hopefully skitter out towards where we want it to go. And it skittles, goes to the blitzer, who fails the pickup, and then it falls to Trolle's lineman at the back here. And we've got to hope that we can knock this player down. We get a both down. And we were not intending to do that. But we get a kill. Now, will he use the apothecary to revive this player? No. Oh, that's awful. I feel bad. I feel really bad about that. So now we've got the ball out, and the one thing I'm sure you've picked it up on, we should have done the handoff, or we should have gone for the handoff before making the movement. So that was the plan. Still getting used to this. I failed to do that, so then we were in a really bad position because we could have skipped our catcher away over here. Now, because we failed to do the handoff, my only thought was to get this player out and provide a bit of coverage at the back here, and probably should have also stood this player up and moved them as far up, or provided some defensive cover. He fails the dodge, the blitzer goes down, and we have a turnover. So unfortunately we weren't able to pick up our catcher, and we don't have coverage, and this pretty much leaves us in, well, unable to win or to get a touchdown in this half. And really this is just sort of trying to make sure that nothing else happens. He uses the Witch Elf to blitz the ball carrier. Gets a stumble, gets the frenzy, gets the pow, and the ball goes into that mass of people. And unfortunately for Trolle, it bounces over to one of his linemen that has already moved, pretty much effectively ending the turn. And that attacker down turnover definitely ends the turn for Trolle. Now at this stage I was thinking maybe we could get really lucky, get some pushes, and we might be able to get our player up there, but it almost unlikely, if even possible. So we stand up our blitzer over here, we get up our thrower with dodge, and he fails. And that's it for the first half. 0-0 at the turn. Trolle has one player dead, and we failed to have our two knocked out players recover for the second half. So we are going in with only 8 players. That half could have gone either way. Let's see what we can do in the second half. And we are receiving. We have a very flat line of scrimmage here with our thrower ready to bring up the ball, and Trolle with the extra players is making full use of that to have good defense in deep. Let's see what the kickoff does. And we get a quick snap and we move our thrower forward one block, and that's it. And now we start throwing some punches, but unfortunately they are too soft. And we just get a pushback there. We use our blitz. And we get another push. Not great. Really sort of not doing a good job of getting this half off to a good start. And again, 2 dice. We finally get a POW. Getting that player on the ground. Thrower picks up the ball, and we end the turn. Trolle has the opportunity to try and force my hand. Unfortunately, that blitz does not go well for them. And now, not sure what. Let's have a look at that again. So, moves a player in, and then dodges away. Bit strange, but I guess he has a reason. And then it just moves every player so that they have at least one of his players against one of ours. And ends the turn. Can't throw any more blocks. Our thrower runs up to the catcher. And I'll tell you what I was thinking here before we see what happens next. Because we've got the 2 players knocked out on the sideline, we are definitely in a deficit of players. So if I can get a quick touchdown, and because Trolle moved all of their players up, we haven't got to work too much of the backfield defending. So if we can get a player up into the backfield and do some good blocks from this stage, then this could mean we could get a very quick touchdown, potentially getting back our 2 players. And if we can get some good blocks in now, then we can hopefully draw back some of that deficit. So we move our blitzer in and around to the back, move our other one in. Both of them have dodge, and then we use our catcher for the blitz. We get a POW. He moves forward and then is able to dodge away and run towards the touchdown. Now, I think what we don't see in this replay is there aren't many options for us to do even a 1 dice block. All of them are pretty much 2 dice. So we've left our catcher pretty much in the open. And now Trolle can potentially capitalize on this. He gets a POW on that player, on that catcher. Able to move up guard linesman to the ball carrier. Throwing some other blocks here along his defense. And gets another player out. Now he can blitz with his blitzer. Doesn't get the ideal roll. So goes for a re-roll and gets a POW. And I've got sidestep, so I might as well move a little bit away from these other players, hoping the ball bounces away. And that is not good. Knocked out. That means any players that were coming back here to pick up this ball, if he'd have stayed on the pitch, we could have done something. But unfortunately, getting KO'd takes him out of options. And now Trolle brings back his witch elf and picks up the ball. And then this gives him another opportunity to throw another block. And that's fortunately for us a stunned, nothing worse. And now we're really in recovery mode. Had to get a good roll on that. Had to re-roll. We get a POW. But stunned. And we move him up. But it also frees our other blitzer. move the thrower up, get base to base. All three of those have got dodge, so potentially it can dodge away. And then we get off base. Possibly I should have either dodged away or blocked, but I probably didn't want to risk a reroll at that stage. The assassin goes again and fails. I think that was the third time. But the 2 dice block, knockout. Now the catcher just gets pushed back off of base contact, and he can bring back his blitzer. Start thinking about forming a cage. Gets the ball moving towards my touchline. Doesn't get a great block there, but push back. I choose to move him away so that hopefully he can run around later on. Another push on that block. And another push. So we're getting all of those players away from the base contact. So at this stage we are a little bit broken up, but we do have a bit of speed, so a bit of movement. We can move these players back. Hopefully try and provide some coverage whilst getting in a block or a blitz. Have to be a blitz because this is the only one. I think we bring this blitzer in. Might as well throw an arm on that assassin. We get a defender stumbles. And we get a badly hurt. That's him out for the rest of the game. And then we can just get into base contact with the Witch Elf. We've done well. We've recouped. We've got our defensive line back behind or ahead of most of Trolle's players. Does well to restrict the movement on the sidestep of our blitzer. And then he forms a nice cage. And then I think neither of us were really willing to risk too much. That 1 dice blitz, really not ideal. Using another reroll. But was hoping to get our blitzer in a better position. But at least we're in contact with the Witch Elf. With the bull. Another pushback. Consistently pushing back rather than throwing punches. Again, sidestep keeps him in contact with the ball carrier. But then Trolle uses the advantage of numbers to ensure that the blitzer can't get to where we stay in base contact, and he gets stunned anyway. So not good. Not good for us. Keeps the cage going, moves over to the left side a little bit more. But the advantage of numbers is definitely starting to show. We're able to get a 2 dice block there. Follow up. Get another 2 dice with our blitz. Defender dodges away, and then we move. Keep our base in contact with the ball carrier, and we're really just trying to harass, hoping that the dice go for us, but that definitely doesn't. Pow on our blitzer and a knockout. We now have 5 players knocked out and 1 seriously injured. Down to 5 players. Down to 4 players. Talk about an uphill battle now. And he's still got another blitz. Defender stumbles. And that's a stunned. What can we do now? And I think, now we are in a point where we really just have to risk everything. And pretty sure we move that thrower down. And then, our blitzer tries the Hail Mary and trips over before he can even get punch in. And Trolle's able to move the Witch Elf right up to the touchdown. Doesn't need to risk anything. Got a reroll. Form a cage as best as possible. He gets another pow on our lineman. He goes down, and then he can cover as best as possible. Gets the push on the throw, saves the reroll. Pushes him so he can get another 2 block, but uses his blitz. He gets a pow. Doesn't get a stun, fortunately. And it's our last turn. And I think the only thing we could possibly do is go for the crazy blitz on the Witch Elf. Get into the tackle zones. And almost does it. No. Goes down, knocked out. And it's a turnover. And Trolle and his Dark Elves can just walk it into the end zone for a 1-0 win. Very well played. Definitely the deficit of players for the Elven Union team really hurt us. We ended up with only 3 players on the pitch at the end, and that was very well played by Trolle, and the dice just were against us on this occasion. I think we could have done a few things differently, but we'll take that into game 4 and hopefully learn from those little errors and mistakes that we made, and hopefully the dice will go in our favour next time.